What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hash It Out podcast. I'm your boy Kenai with my boy Tony Tone here,
What it do?
and we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so with the preseason coming to a close very soon, we want to sit here and talk about some guys that really impressed us this preseason. We're going to do one rookie, one veteran that we could see having a solid season this year and potentially prove themselves this year. So we'll start off with the rookies. So who do you think has impressed you this offseason or preseason, excuse me?
As much as I don't want to really say it and admit it because I know we both kind of talked shit about him when we were discussing about the rookies and who was going to play pretty well. Honestly, I gotta give it to Roma Dunze, man. This dude is proven, what he was in college wasn't a fluke. Like watching the highlights, because obviously I didn't watch his games, but watching the highlights and the way he connected with Caleb Williams, man, that chemistry was just off the chart. And I think he might be poised to have a really good season.
It's actually funny that you chose Roma Dunze to be the rookie that really impressed you this preseason, because my rookie that I'm choosing is actually his partner in crime, freaking Caleb Williams. I know in one of our previous episodes that we did, I kind of bashed him. I said that he wasn't going to be much because the whole situation of most of the most recent first overall picks didn't turn out so well and everything like that, and I was wholeheartedly expecting him to be no different. But watching him through these preseasons, I feel like he has what it takes to be that dude for the Bears, and him and Roma Dunze definitely have some chemistry already it, in their first year in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm still skeptical about Caleb Williams, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, we got a couple game sample size from him, and we're seeing shades of what he did at USC, but this guy is going against second and third string guys.
Yeah.
He's not going against, the cream of the crop, as you want to call it. So, realistically, I still can't say that he's going to be that guy, that generational talent.
Oh yeah.
I'll give him credit where credit's due. Dude was making it look effortless out there.
Yeah.
But well, that's still yet to be determined. I
Oh,
still feel like he's definitely proven what he's got coming.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Like by no means am I saying that he, proved himself to be that dude off rip, because you're right. It is the preseason. Not only is he going against second, third string guys and everything like that, but also most people don't really take the preseason very serious, not even the players. Like some do just because they want that win, but like for the most part nobody really takes the preseason serious because it's not something that's recorded realistically. So it's like I by no means am I saying that, oh, he's gonna be like the greatest thing ever or whatever, but he definitely showed me a little something these past couple of preseason games, and showed that he has a little something to prove, and he's got a little something.
Well, I feel like there's a lot more guys that take the preseason way more seriously than you think they do. Because the whole point of the freaking preseason, dude, is hey, either you're getting a spot or you're not.
True.
Especially for a lot of these veteran guys, that have been around, that it's either, hey, you play, like, we know you've been in the league past your rookie contract, you've been here 4 or 5, 6 years, it's time for you to show me a little something, something. Otherwise, hey, hit the road, walking ain't crowded, like my boys with Cooper Rush, like we're still somewhat giving this man a chance when have we realistically seen Cooper Rush start?
Never.
Because we've been
Never.
First of all, we're not getting into that. Because I will admit, we've paid Dak, we've paid him his money, we've done that. But the fact that Cooper Rush has played well enough to still have a job goes to show that the preseason isn't just about looking at rookies.
Oh
You
yeah.
got to look at veteran guys too, because it's either you have a job or you don't. We know the NFL is a cutthroat business at the end of the day.
Yes, yes, it is. And it's like, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up with, the Cooper Rush being the veteran trying to prove himself. And to be quite honest, he did show you guys a little
He
something,
was
something.
that dude.
He
I'm
was.
sorry.
He definitely trying to secure himself a roster spot on your boys. But speaking of, one dude that for my squad that I think is really gonna have a lot to say and a lot to prove is that boy Trenton Simpson, because everybody's been talking about how, oh well, the Ravens lost Patrick Queen to the Steelers, their defense isn't gonna be as good, and da 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 da. But at the same time, it's like clearly y'all didn't see Trenton Simpson last season in his rookie year. That man was everywhere on that field trying to prove that he wants to be here and that he wants to be a Raven and everything like that. And I feel like in this preseason he's been doing that to where I feel like he's I know for a fact he's gonna secure him a spot on the 53 man roster, but I feel like he's definitely going to have a huge season this year for us. And I just remember the name Trenton Simpson, and just remember I'm the one that said something about him. That's all I'm going to say.
I partially feel like there's a hole in that though.
How so?
Because don't get me wrong, I'll give Trent Simpson his credit, man. Dude, from what I've seen in the preseason, with what we watched when we watched the games and stuff, it's like I'll give the man the credit. He played good. Did he earn him a spot just yet? We don't know. But the production that he's gonna have to replace from Patrick Queen, that's asking him to fill some pretty big ass shoes.
I mean, yes, true. This is true that he's gonna have some big shoes to fill, but at the same time, I feel like he doesn't have as big of shoes to fill because you got to think he's got Roquan Smith right next to him that he's productive no matter what. Day in, day out, year in, year out, Roquan Smith is a dog. Then we just signed Eddie Jackson in the offseason to where that's going to take some pressure off because that allows freaking Kyle Hamilton to do his thing, being everywhere on the field. To where I don't even think that realistically Trenton Simpson's even going to have to be a Patrick Queen per se. I just feel like he just needs to be himself, be productive, and show that hey, even though Patrick Queen is gone, I'm that dude. I can step up and be that guy for y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because, don't get me wrong. With a guy like Roquan Smith and, your Kyle Hamilton and your Brandon Stevens and all these other guys that you guys have got,
Yep.
Eddie Jackson, who y'all just signed, it's like, I get it. Y'all don't need that day one, come in there, just put his dick in the dirt and throw it down on people. We don't need to see another Ray Lewis-esque type fucking dude, but you still want to see production out of a guy, especially now because we see how quick and easy it is to replace somebody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially with all the UDFAs that have been getting contracts out of
hell
fucking
yeah.
nowhere nowadays.
My boys are notorious for that.
Unfortunately. So that proves my point even further that it's like anybody's job is up for grabs at the end of the day, which that kind of leads into another thing with, stuff being up for grabs. Like, why is it that guys, they make all this money and they think that, they can just do whatever they want and they don't have to take their job seriously and, they think they're above the law and like, what's the deal with that, man?
I feel like you pretty much hit the nail on the head is that you got these cats that, they didn't have much growing up. Football was their only way out, and obviously football gets them out of their situation and they start making them big bucks and everything, money that they haven't seen ever in their life up until this point. I feel like it kind of does bring a little bit of the darker side out of these guys because it's like, I mean, I I don't know. I find it crazy, when it comes to it because it's like you literally worked your ass off. You put your blood, sweat, and tears into freaking getting to this point, getting to the NFL, something that most people that play football don't get to say that they can do. You're the 1% of guys that get to say that you lived out your dream of being in the NFL. And for some odd reason, so many dudes freaking decide to just say, fuck it. I know that I just made my dream come true, but I'm going to screw it up the worst way possible. And then it don't help either that the NFL is so inconsistent with their punishments on certain aspects. Because you got, like, take, for example, I know it's an old situation, but it's relevant. Take the whole situation with Ray Rice way back when. He got caught on camera popping his wife, well, at the time, his fiance, in the jaw, knocking her out cold. And he got blackballed from the NFL for it. Like,
completely so. Like, he wholeheartedly hit a woman on video.
Okay, but then you got a dude like Kareem Hunt that got caught on camera, literally giving a chick a three-piece. She fell to the ground, and then he kicked her in the face when she was down. And this man is still in the NFL. So make that
bro,
make sense.
look.
How did he not get blackballed when he did way worse? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it's no different than AB not getting blackballed, for the crap that he did. Odell not getting blackballed for all the PR crap that he got brought up in. It's like the NFL is just so inconsistent with their punishments,
Oh yeah.
and it don't make no sense. And yes, I'm gonna call out that dude Tress Way too, because he went on video admitting that he beat his wife on the daily, and this man is still playing. Make the math.
It don't make no sense. It really don't. And I feel like because the punishments are so inconsistent that it's a big reason why people do stuff, because it's like you punish people, like take fucking what the fuck is dude's name? Isaiah Wynn with the
The
dude.
lineman for the Patriots?
No, not him. The other the dude for the Titans that sat there and had the picture with the mask on,
Oh,
smoking all
you're
that.
talking about Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laramie Tunsil.
He nothing really happened to him. He kind of got a little fine, like don't do that.
I mean, he was smoking weed. Like, I mean, I get at the time,
But-
technically, the NFL had their PED, substance abuse policy and everything. Martavis Bryant got caught up in it.
But-
AB got caught up in it. A few people got caught up in it. But
But
that
how
man
could-
still carved him out a good career. But that's smoking weed compared to, quite literally, in Kareem Hunt's case, becoming a professional kickboxer with a woman and somehow not catching any jail time. Yet there was a man that recently just got arrested for urinating on an elderly man in a fucking on a flight, like,
Yeah, that's.
and he gets arrested. Like,
I would have been pissed.
I mean, the person
Like,
that
no
got
pun-
pissed
no pun intended.
No, straight up got pissed on. Like, I know they say it's better to be pissed on than pissed off, but I wouldn't want to have been pissed on.
Okay.
Like, could you imagine you just getting on a flight, you trying to go see your mama and them, and then next thing you know, you got a 40-year-old man pissing on you.
Right, no lie, I'd probably fight that dude. I don't care how old I am. If you have the nerve to whip your Peter whack out and think that you just about to freaking straight golden shower me for no freaking reason, just know you getting pieced up. I don't care if I'm 12 years old. I don't give a damn if I'm 1,200 years old. You getting this work. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you got me messed up on that. Like you got me all the way messed up on that. But
I get it, but it's like, yet again, granted, the only reason this made the news was because it was an ex-NFL player, and he's not really going to catch any slack for it. But it's still the same thing. These guys get a lot of money, and they act like they can just get away with, whatever they do, and it's like that doesn't make any sense. Like,
it don't. And it's like because realistically we know that ex NFL player is not going to catch any slack because obviously he's no longer with the NFL. So the NFL has no jurisdiction. But my thing is that it's like with the guys that are active, it's like take for example the most recent situation with Calvin Ridley for gambling or whatever. He got suspended indefinitely for the season, for one whole season and everything like that. And then not only that, but the Falcons let him go to where he ended up with the Jags, all that good stuff. Blah,
but
blah,
that
whatever.
was warranted.
I mean, to a degree,
That
but
was warranted because you're using insider information. That'd be like us being on this podcast and knowing like who's gonna like and who's gonna subscribe and comment and all this, and using that against ourselves or for ourselves and being like, you know what, we know how to attack this algorithm. Let's do this instead, to where we're forcing ourselves to get better.
I mean, yes and no. Like I do agree that yes, it could be technically insider, information that you're gambling and blah blah. But at the same time, it's like, how do you know for sure that whatever you're gambling on, betting on, or whatever is gonna actually hit? Unless he's betting on himself. That's the only way that he can guarantee anything. Otherwise, any other his bets are no different than if you and I were to bet on the game. It's like there's no guarantee that we're gonna hit.
Yeah, but he knows the game plan. He knows what's going on. He knows what's gonna happen.
True.
He has an edge over a Joe Schmo like you or myself, or God knows who else that's betting, because we've seen that sports betting has become a really big thing over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Where folks are throwing thousands, if not hundreds of tens of thousands of dollars into this. So for him to make that bet, it's like, okay, you knew what you were doing. Granted, yes, the NFL paid you your money. That's technically your money.
Yes.
And you're allowed to do whatever you want with it. But the rules and the regulations state that you are not allowed to gamble, especially with the NFLPA.
True.
It's frowned upon. Frowned upon. I mean, come on, like that was justified. Now, one thing that I feel like was not done right, and this is where we get into the whole inconsistency thing. Good God, Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
His punishment.
Yeah, that was kind of ass.
This man got accused of sexually assaulting, like, what was it? Something like 30 different women?
Something like that.
And served what? Like not even a year suspension?
Yeah, it was like majority of a season, like 11-game suspension.
And it's like, bro, like you're literally out here, fondling women and doing all this and
traumatizing them.
Traumatizing these people, these women that probably just got up, wanted to go to their 9-to-5 jobs and just do their shit and go home. But you're like, nah, girl, I'm finna whip this out and you finna hold it for me. Like, I mean, granted, we don't know the specifics, so we can't really say one way or the other. But it's the fact that garnered more attention than a lot of these other things have been doing, to where it's like, this man literally had multiple people come forward about sexual allegations. And they're just like, nope, slap on the wrist for you.
Right.
We're not going to do anything to you.
Not only did you get a slap on the wrist, but you got the biggest, most guaranteed fucking money contract ever for no reason. Like,
it was like what, 235 something million?
255
or
mil.
55 mil. It's
fully
like,
guaranteed for what? And at that time you were out for you were out of football for 3 years dealing with these allegations and everything like that. And you not only got that big contract for no reason, but then you just got a slap on the wrist of, oh, you're gonna be suspended for 11 games and everything like that. And then now what? Like it's like that's stupid. It's like I feel like regardless if he was found guilty or not, I feel like he should have got blackballed, no different than all the other motherfuckers that have done lesser shit.
I mean, it depends on what you consider lesser shit.
Hitting your wife. Compared to assaulting a woman in that manner.
There was no physical proof of that. Ray Rice got blackballed because granted, it's a double-edged sword. Y'all can crucify me all you want. But in Ray Rice's case, when he got blackballed, at the time, he was the only one that had done that. Because Kareem Hunt hadn't pulled his shit.
Well, yeah, because he wasn't in the NFL yet.
They used Ray Rice as an example.
But they couldn't use Deshaun Watson as an example for his shit? Like, regardless if he was found guilty or not?
Yes and no, but if the man wasn't found guilty, then he wouldn't have deserved to have been crucified like that. So, okay, so you're going to me on that? Really? Because you're going to sit here and tell me, if I were to go to our business manager and be like, hey, just so you know, my coworker's in here caressing my ass cheeks. And apparently that's a false allegation, but you still get blackballed because of it.
I mean,
you want to get blackballed because it just so happened that somebody told on you for groping another man's backside?
I mean,
and it wasn't true? Like, it'd be one thing if I just came up and grabbed a handful of ass and was like, yeah, let me get them cheeks. But no, you straight up didn't do it. So why are you going to get punished? But then turn around, I would be the one crucified because I started the allegations. But he caught all the flack for it because, he didn't get proven guilty for it.
I mean,
they let him come back.
I get where you're coming from with it.
It's two different things. And at the time, with Ray Rice, it was justified. Do I agree with it now that the whole Kareem Hunt thing came out and that they handled Kareem Hunt's situation the way they did? Because realistically, the same thing should have happened to Kareem Hunt.
Yes,
he should have been 100% blackballed, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because, granted, in Ray Rice's case, all he did was he backhanded the bitch, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like, granted, you knocked her out cold, Mike Tyson punch-out style, just, knocked her right to the ground. But in Kareem Hunt's case, if I'm not mistaken, his old lady was pregnant at the time too, wasn't she?
I'm not sure about that.
I don't remember exactly, but he straight gave her the spiciest 3-piece combo known to man. And
they continued kicking her.
Granted, now I'm not in any way, shape, form, or fashion condoning, hitting a woman. Neither one of us are. We're just gonna go ahead and clear that up now.
Facts.
But in this case, to where it's like with Ray Rice and Kareem Hunt, it's like there were two different punishments handed out for the same exact thing. Like Roger Goodell and all of them in the NFL, they've painted such a bad picture for themselves when it comes to handling these egregious acts that happen,
Facts.
And it's like, how can we expect them to act just and fair when it comes to a lot of these things, because everybody, like in example, the Calvin Ridley situation, where everybody was like, oh, well, he didn't deserve that, but oh, then again, he did. It's like there's too much riding the fence with what these
Yeah.
punishments should be.
Because I feel like that's kind of a like with Calvin Ridley. I feel like his situation was kind of a gray area because obviously they didn't exactly state what all he was betting on or whatever in the article. But regardless, it's like I don't see what's wrong with him kind wanting to indulge in a little bit of gambling. I get it that there's rules against it and everything like that, whatever. But at the same time, it's like he clearly didn't win nothing off of it. So it's like, what does it matter if he didn't make any money off of it? Like he pretty much no different than the rest of us that do these little football betting things or sports betting things. They he lost money. Like only one person can freaking win. So it's like, and it obviously wasn't him. Otherwise, we would have heard something,
Yeah.
but we didn't.
Yeah, and it's like I get it, but at the end of the day, it's the principle of, hey, why the fuck are you betting on yourself? You're a professional athlete. You have the edge over everyday Joe Schmo and his family or his buddies, betting, thinking, oh, if this three-leg parlay hits, I'm gonna make $1 million. When you're already sitting on guaranteed money and you got fucking throwaway money at this point to where, oh, so what if I lose 10 grand? Like it's not gonna make any difference to me.
I mean, I get it, but
To where it's like you egregiously just didn't care. You chose to bet because more than likely he bet on himself. To where it
probably.
was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have a dog of a game. Like he created himself in Madden and just went to town. It fucking broke like 7 records in a game type deal where he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna win like $16 million off this 2 grand bet. Like dude had way too much information. It's no different. I know we don't really talk about it here, but it's no different than the dude in the NBA that got freaking banned for life because he was betting on games and what his scores was finna be and everything like that. Like it was justified.
I mean, yeah, I get it. I get that in general it was justified and all that good stuff. I I just I personally don't think that a full season suspension was necessary. Like especially again, like I said, in circumstances like Deshaun Watson where you only got 11, which granted you can say that's majority of a season, but it's like your situation was way more heinous and you only got suspended 11 games,
Well,
whereas all old dude did was want to make a little bit extra money on the side, and he got
but he
suspended
just
an
got
entire
his
season.
bag. He had just gotten his bag from the Jags,
And he
bro.
was trying to have a good time.
I mean, I get it.
Fine.
I get it. But you want to know one that's even crazier than all that?
What's up?
This whole Big Ben deal.
Oh.
Way back in the day. We remember this.
Mhm.
All the sexual allegations he had against him. And it's like, you look at the way the NFL handled that compared to the way the NFL has been handled Deshaun Watson stuff. There's too many similarities to where it's like, yeah, you could technically say they're consistent, but Big Ben got away with it, so Deshaun Watson got away with it too. Where does that make sense?
I mean, it don't like I said I hate the topic of that because they're very inconsistent when it comes to any kind of domestic violence or any kind of like allegations, sexual allegations against people. Like I feel it seems to me that freaking when it comes to anything involving women, the NFL tries their best to kind of keep their distance from it. Like, oh no, like we're not associated with that guy. Like if he's found not guilty, then he belongs to us. But if he's guilty, it's not our thing. He's not ours. And they almost tiptoe around the situations, which is part of the reason why they don't take those situations as seriously as they do. That's why the consequences for those are not serious. And it's kind of aggravating to me, especially in as somebody that has sisters, myself. I would be freaking livid if somebody put their hands on my sister, whether it be in a sexual manner or like trying to whoop her ass or whatever. I would be pissed if all they got was a slap on the wrist. Don't do that again. I would probably go and find that person and, handle it
Send it to
myself.
you from the gene pool
Facts.
type deal.
Like
I get it.
I'd probably go handle it myself, but it seems like because of the slack that, the NFL would get if it came out that these people did actually do it, they're just kind of like, oh, like, let's try to brush it under the rug, hurry up, get it done and over with so that we can keep our image as the perfect, league. And in all reality, we know nothing's perfect. There's flaws in everything, but at the same time, it's like, how many people have probably actually gotten away with legit doing that shit? I mean, hell, Kareem Hunt got away with fucking whooping a bitch's ass. Oh, excuse me, whooping a woman's ass for no reason other than they were arguing, and it's like, but yet Ray Rice, who was literally just in a sense defending himself, if you watched back the video, his fiance at the time was beating his tail, like slapping him and everything like that, and he just wanted her to stop, but she wouldn't, so he just bopped one good time, slept her, and he got blackballed.
Yeah, but I feel like with that being said, it's a double-edged sword, Like, for example, with the whole allegations thing, it's like it is a finicky subject to walk around because, there are those cases where it's like, okay, yeah, dude all but, put his hand on her shoulder, yelled surprise, and was like, hey, give me that ass. Like, that's wrong, and we know it happens, but it's also one of those situations to where, the boy that cried wolf. There's a lot of times where folks do that, and it's been proven that it doesn't happen to where, folks are out here starting civil suits, oh, this is defamation, you ruined my career, you did this, like there was a dude in the MLB, I can't remember his name, but he got pretty much kicked out of the league and spent the last like 4 seasons trying to prove his innocence because they immediately wanted nothing to do with it just because it was simply an allegation, didn't even wait to see if it was for real. So I think it's one of those things that I feel like they're rightfully so, they're treading lightly on because it's like they don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah, I
Because
get it.
either way, it's a double-edged sword because they're getting blackballed. Say, for example, we'll take Deshaun Watson because he's the most recent one that I can think of that
Right.
has been involved in a situation like this. Say the NFL wholeheartedly off the jump at the moment it come out, oh yeah, hey, you're gone, you're blackballed from the league, and say it's proven that he didn't do it. Like there's stone cold evidence saying, hey, this man never touched a woman in any egregious way a day in his life. Now somebody that was in their prime is just all but lost everything and can't have it back.
I mean, I get
To
it.
where it's like at the time, yeah, a slap on the wrist, like a 6-game suspension until they figure it all out is one thing. But for that to be the final judgment once you found out that he did do these things, that's where that gray area comes in to where like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, because realistically, there was no, well, there was a final verdict, but it was more so that he settled with all the women. So pretty much they got their hush money and called it a day. Like that's pretty much what it was because he wasn't found guilty or innocent. It was just they just settled. So more than likely his lawyer or whoever, found a good enough amount to give these women to freaking, get them to be like, hey, shut your mouth,
Yeah.
and then and he got to where it's like we don't know we don't know whether he did it or not, and we never will know, unfortunately, because they silenced them, and that's another reason why I don't feel right about that whole thing, is because it's like, yeah, you settled, but it's like you settled on what terms though? Because it's like, did you settle because you did it and you just didn't want to have your life ruined, or did you settle because you didn't do it and you just wanted them to go the fuck away?
No, that does raise a lot of important questions though, because I'm glad you said that because it's like, did you pay him off just to get him out of your hair like a shoe fly type deal, or did you pay him off because it's like, hey, I know I fucked up,
Yeah, like, don't ruin my life.
don't ruin my life type deal, like all but on your hands and knees pleading and begging.
Yep.
Which either way, the world may never know. Granted, here in about 10, 15 years, once he's well and gone out the league, we'll probably see a memoir book about it. All these women come forward talking about what he did and everything like that. But, that's speculation. However, there is one instance that I feel like the NFL was wholeheartedly 110%, like their hands was pretty much tied. There was nothing they could have done about it. Henry Ruggs.
What about him?
His situation where he was drunk driving, speeding, and he crashed and he killed that girl or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that you wholeheartedly deserve that. Like,
Yeah.
that's drunken disorderly, drunk driving,
Vehicular
reckless
manslaughter.
driving, vehicular manslaughter. Like, at that point, that's one of those situations to where the punishment that the NFL gave out was like, hey, you're done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they realistically had no choice
That
but to say, "Hey, you're done," because I mean, the man was sentenced to 10 years, which I still feel is
his
ridiculously
lawyer got him
Oh
out
yeah,
on a good thing.
he had an amazing
But
lawyer because that's ridiculous that you only got 10 years for something like that. I don't know.
I mean, when you got money like that, because you remember he was a first round pick.
True.
He had the money at the time. He already signed that dotted line. But he got, and he rightfully so, he got a lifetime ban from the NFL, as far
Yeah.
as I know.
Yeah.
But then it's like that raises questions. It's like, so that happens, but then, you gave Martavis Bryant the same thing just for, PED abuse.
Yep.
But now, granted, they lifted his suspension or whatever, and he's making a comeback. But I guess it's not really the same thing. But it's like the NFL still, yet again, is proving their inconsistencies with a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of inconsistency, it's not only just, these egregious acts that's going on, but they're inconsistent with, the refs and calling games,
Oh yeah.
That's definitely been a bigger one here
Okay.
as of late. Like, they're just out here just throwing out money to whoever, to ref these games. And, like, for example, I'm going to bring it up because I'm still fucking salty about it. 2016, okay? Cowboys Packers. It wasn't ruled a catch. But then 2 weeks later, it was ruled a catch, and we got shafted, and now nobody knows what the catch is. Like,
Oh yeah.
there's just so many inconsistent rulings in the NFL to where it's like, are we sure these guys aren't being run by something else? Like, this is just like a puppet operation here?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I definitely agree with you that the refereeing around here is definitely inconsistent. Like just in these past couple of preseason games, there were so many moments where pass interference should have been called, but it wasn't, and everything like that. Like for example, the play with who was it? The Lions and the Chiefs, where freaking the running back went to go freaking catch a screen pass, and the defensive player for the Chiefs literally had his arms wrapped around the man prior to him catching the ball. And obviously, when you already have somebody jumping on your back and everything like that, you're not going to be able to catch the ball. And that should have been pass interference, defensive pass interference, but it wasn't called. It was called an incomplete pass, or no, it was a tackle. Excuse me, because he did end up catching the ball, even with the dude jumping on his back. But either still, it's like that should have been pass interference, regardless if he caught it or not, because you made contact before the ball was even there. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of moments like that during the preseason where there was moments of pass interference that didn't get called. There was moments of face mask that didn't get called. In the Broncos Packers game, there was a moment where there was a face mask that didn't get called because the players were going out of bounds. And it's like, regardless if they're going out of bounds or not, face mask is face mask.
Well, I mean, technically at that point, the play's blown dead once they go out of bounds.
I mean, true, but face mask is still face
Face
mask.
mask, still face mask. But that also goes to prove another thing, too. With all these rule changes we've seen over the years, I still am going to stand by the statement that the NFL's gone soft. And maybe that might explain as to why these punishments and everything are kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Because so much has changed over the years. Like, you look back in the days, the 80s, the 90s, where it was smash mouth football. I'm gonna punch you, pop you right in the mouth, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Nowadays, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm invading your safe space. Cool, that's a fucking 15-yard penalty. Like,
Yep.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Oh yeah, it's crazy and it's outlandish. There's a lot of things that the NFL really needs to figure out, not only with punishments for any kind of violations, but also with just the rules in general. I mean, hell, they have that new freaking kickoff rule or kickoff style that they're trying, and they don't even know the black and white rules of the kickoff really. Like they still don't even have that perfected. And it's like, why try something if you don't even know exactly how you want it to go, like that would be like a freaking chef sitting there being like, oh, I'm gonna go cook, but not know at all what the fuck he plans on cooking. And just throwing some crap together and being like, oh, voila, and expecting people to love it.
Yeah. No, well, it's like it's no different than the pre-snap motion rule that they're supposed to be changing or whatever. They're trying to make all these rule changes to make it to where football's fun again and it's okay. It's like everybody in America wants to watch it when it's like realistically this is the same old song and dance every year.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that we really get out of it is the new guys in college that we get used to watching, and we see so many coaching changes to where it's like, oh, well, what's going to happen this year? What's going to happen with this and this and this? And it's like, I'm sure all of y'all feel the same way sometimes, to where it's like, what is the end goal here? Like, I get it. The NFL's been around 100 plus years now. It's like, you think they would have this figured out by now.
Yeah, well, I feel like the biggest issue with the NFL right now is that they're trying to make offense more prevalent. And the problem with that is that by making offense more prevalent, you're making it to where defense is it's virtually impossible. Like the rules are getting to a point where you might as well just you might as well just have both offenses out there and pretty much do it rugby style at this point because it's like because like I mean if we're being honest you can't tackle really you can't freaking because literally if you can't slam them like you used to you can't really put your hand you can't even breathe in anybody's direction without catching a penalty on defense to where it's like at this point in time, I feel like they're trying so hard to make offense the premier thing that they're ruining football in its totality because now it's just high powered, high speed, low drag freaking offenses that are just slinging the rock everywhere, scoring left and right effortlessly as if they're good. But in all reality, it's just the rules make it to where it's like, as long as you're in the right position, you can pull a penalty, Like,
I get it, but my thing on it is it goes back to the whole inconsistency, of calls and everything. I feel like it's just the NFL trying to make everybody happy.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, we know no different than anything else, the NFL is a business. And what
yeah,
is a business run off of? It's customers. At the end of the day, it's just the NFL trying to pull everything out of this so-called magical hat that they got going on to try to keep something going.
yeah, you're not wrong there. I definitely agree with you on that. It sucks because it's like obviously because they're trying to appease everybody, it makes it to where the product itself is becoming lackluster. Now, there are moments where we get to see that, smash mouth, football that we know and love, back way back
Yeah,
when,
but we get that what once a season, if
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like you don't really see, the games like we used to.
Nah,
Like
the days of like Ray Lewis, Troy Polamalu, and all them days is done and over with. And it sucks. It really upsets me because honestly, I feel like that was when football was at its peak. Yes, injuries were ridiculous, but it's a contact sport. Injuries are gonna be a thing. Like you can only make a sport that involves using your body to tackle somebody or stiff arm somebody or prevent somebody. A sport that involves using your body. You can only freaking make it so safe. Like that would be like boxing trying to make boxing safe. Like you can only do so much because people are punching each other in the face.
you're gonna get popped in the
Right,
mouth.
like people are getting punched in the face. It's the same thing with football. People are getting tackled. People are getting stiff armed. People are getting juked. People are getting freaking, blocked.
Thrown
Whatever.
around like fucking
Yeah,
rag
exactly.
dolls.
You can only make a contact sport so safe before at that point it's like, what are you doing? The sport's not even the sport anymore.
Well, I mean, I get to a degree, I get them trying to make it safe, especially in the fact that we know it's a physically demanding sport. And, we've seen, take perfect fucking example as to why they're doing it. Take Luke Kuechly.
Okay.
Luke Kuechly's career got cut short, like almost instantaneously. It feels like we saw Luke Kuechly play like 2 seasons, and that was it because the man developed CTE.
Yeah.
The man literally hit people so hard that he rattled his brain loose.
Yeah.
Because we know that's all CTE really is you're shifting your brain around in your head to where it's like you can't remember things and you start acting outrageous and doing all this. Same thing with AB. Granted, AB's took a lot longer to kick in, but Same thing with him. CTE caught him. We just saw the whole CTE thing with Tua, where he took like 6 concussions in 2 weeks.
I mean,
Like, dude was getting his ass beat. Like, I get it. That's part of the job. You assume that, that position, that risk when you step out onto that field. But at the end of the day, the NFL looks at it as, hey, you're making me money. I need to protect you.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, all this money that's getting thrown around with the NFL is a business investment.
yes, that is true.
Because without this business investment, we're not going to make money. For example, when we went to the Jags-Ravens game, we paid money to go see that.
Mm-hmm.
Us being able to see them play was a business investment.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
They're doing what they can while cutting corners, and it's shitty. And I hate to say it because we see so many guys get injured week in and week out over the stupidest of shit. Like Odell in the Super Bowl with it's turf instead of grass. Like what is this?
I mean, there's been a lot of complaints about that, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In and of itself.
We'll get to that, but I realistically just feel like the NFL needs to be more consistent with everything they do and not just in one or two things.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. And obviously we would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. We look forward to your comments. We read them all when they're out there. And if you want to have a chance to be mentioned on the next episode, we would greatly appreciate you commenting. Don't forget to follow us on all social medias, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and we will see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Deuces.